Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel, and this Cleveland Browns quarterback battle, if you want to call it a battle. I hate making videos like this because, to be quite honest with you, I do think Dillon Gabriel is a very fascinating quarterback prospect. But if you've been watching this channel, my rhetoric is this. Shedeur Sanders, in my opinion, is a first-round quarterback. I don't know how he fell to the 5th round. Well, actually, we kind of do know how he fell to the 5th round. Dillon Gabriel, in my opinion, was not really a 3rd round guy. Maybe 5th round, more likely 6th round, kind of like Will Howard. And now I watch ESPN and I watch FS1 and I read Twitter and I have all these people saying Shedeur's not a 1st round talent. He's not a 5th round talent. He's an undrafted free agent who happened to get drafted to the Cleveland Browns because of his father. I'm not the biggest college football fan. I am a biased Notre Dame football fan. But there is something so obvious about Shedeur Sanders where he has talent. And you can say his completion percent, negatively, you could say his win-loss record, which, I mean, who really cares? Look at Patrick Mahomes. It's very similar. My point is, I hate making videos like this because I'm so high on Shedeur, and I don't really care about Dillon Gabriel, not in like the sense I don't think he's a decent quarterback prospect, but it's just like, I'm literally so sick of being gaslit into thinking Shedeur Sanders was a 5th round quarterback. And you have 50% of people saying, I totally agree. The media is doing him dirty. They're doing him wrong. And then you have 50% of other people believing the ESPN rhetoric saying this guy shouldn't have even been drafted. And if you are either a Shedeur fan, if you are a Colorado Buffalo fan, if you're a college football fan, it's genuinely baffling that Shedeur Sanders fell all the way to the 5th round. I'm not the craziest conspiracy theorist. Maybe in college. I'm 26, which sounds crazy to say out loud, but I'm 26 years old now. And when I watch Shedeur in the last 2 seasons at Colorado, like I said, I'm just sick of being gaslit into thinking that people all of a sudden think this guy is not a good quarterback. Now, if you want to make the case because like the Las Vegas Raiders kind of come to my mind. The New York Giants come to my mind as well, where is Shedeur Sanders that good of a prospect where in the 2024 NFL season, you're literally trying to tank and you're trying to get the number 1 draft pick overall so you could take Shedeur? Maybe that's a little bit overblown. Maybe that's a little bit dramatic. But I don't know. I hit the like button, hit that sub button. You guys know the deal. I haven't talked Shedeur in a couple of months, which is funny because it's like my most viewed video ever on Will Upton on this channel. I happened to go viral. I literally made a TikTok. We're making TikToks. I think it's Will Upton NFL. And I posted it on Twitter. It's funny because it did horrible on TikTok and Twitter got 1 million views. I am just done with this quarterback battle because I've always said this sentiment. I'm not getting into the conspiracy theories where it's like, or at least in this video, where it's like all the GMs, all 32 owners decided that they weren't going to draft Shedeur Sanders because of his off the field issues. There's so many things also that go into that. It's like, especially if you're a Browns fan, that's the thing. I'm a Packers fan. If you're a Browns fan, it's so clear as day. It's so evident that the rhetoric around Shedeur Sanders is straight up unfair. Now, I will say this. I think Shedeur Sanders should have been selected in the top 5 picks. I think he should have been selected to the New York Giants when they had their opportunity. Obviously, that ended up maturing poorly. But I do think at some point in this regular season, Shedeur Sanders will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Now, I get it from a football perspective. You could even look at like the New England Patriots of last season where Jacoby Brissett starting over Drake May. They had a bad offensive line. It's a rookie quarterback. I'm also even just kind of thinking of Justin Fields when he got drafted out of OSU. I disagree with the philosophy of those coaches. I think if you have your franchise quarterback like you do have Drake May, or at that point in time the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields, like, why are we waiting 4 to 8 games to give this guy an opportunity? I think that's just kind of stupid. Like, oh, we want to be competitive. I think that's just so stupid, because it's better to just learn for a season. You look at Drake May. The Patriots were a horrible football team last year. Drake May's statistics weren't even good. But if you're a Pats fan and you watched those football games, it's like, yeah, I'm excited about the future. And the thing I have a big issue with is Dillon Gabriel was overdrafted. All right, Dillon Gabriel was not, at least in my opinion, a third-round quarterback. All right, like I said at the beginning of this video, he's more like maybe 4, if you're going to be generous, maybe 5, maybe 6. And at the same time, what the heck do I know? But Shedeur Sanders falling past the second round sits very badly with me, because this is a stand-up kid. I do like his father, Deion Sanders, and it just makes no genuine sense, in my opinion. And we've covered the NFL for a few seasons on this channel, and every time I talk Shedeur, I'm still, like I said, I hate that I'm even using this word. I sound like a teenage girl, where it's like I'm being gaslit into people thinking Shedeur's a bad quarterback. I don't know what the catalyst was. I don't really know why people would have like issues with maybe PR or him as a person, because all you see from Cleveland Brown reporters, all you see from Browns fans, his teammates in Cleveland, his teammates in Colorado, everybody loves Shedeur Sanders, at least as a person, right? Maybe not if you're like a divisional or a rival against Colorado. Maybe you hate the kid because you got to beat him. But I just don't genuinely understand it. So people say like, all right, well, he's got talent, but people are worried his dad's going to be a thing. Well, his dad hasn't been a thing at any point since he got drafted to Cleveland. Oh, his talent's not there. Watch Colorado last season. Watch Colorado 2 years ago. Like, that's even almost a joke to say he's not that good of a quarterback. It's like, are we watching the same football games? So my end philosophy here is, like I said, I'm not trying to rag on Dillon Gabriel, and I guess that's how it comes off, but I think Dillon Gabriel was overdrafted. I think the third round was a reach, and I think Shedeur Sanders was just absolutely shafted. I don't think there was any way, shape, or form he should have been a 5th-round draft pick. I mean, if anything, Dillon should have been a 5th-round guy, and Shedeur should have been a 3rd-round guy, and that's where the politics and the BS gets involved, because it's like, all right, Joe Flacco is going to be the week 1 starter, but what sucks is because of where they were drafted, maybe the Browns didn't know they were going to take Shedeur. Maybe the Browns didn't think Shedeur was going to be available in the 5th round. It's like, now Shedeur's got to beat Dillon Gabriel for this spot. But like, watch these training camp clips. It's obvious. It's clear as day, at least in my opinion. Like I said, I hate making these videos because I feel like I'm being a little bit too negative. But I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Guys want more Browns content? Let me know. But that's it for me. Peace.